What's going on, guys? Pedro here with Tampa Gunworks, back with another video. In today's video, we're talking about the all-new Mac 9 DS Comp. It's one of the newer 2011s on the market. It is pre-ported, so I want to get my hands on it and do a review for you guys. Before we get into this thing, I want to give a shout out to the team here at Shooting Sports Tampa. Once again, if you've seen any of the past probably 5 or 6 videos, we are back at our favorite facility. They give us access to this range to essentially do training, do content like this for you guys, and hopefully put out the best content that we can. So a huge shout out to those guys. Thank you once again for giving us access. Let's jump straight into the review. Here is the bag that it comes in. It is a zipper kind of canvas bag, as most of you guys are familiar with. Inside the bag, here's what you get. You would get a lock that none of us use. You get 2 17 round magazines. You get obviously the Mac 9 DS Comp. This has a Surefire on it. Obviously it doesn't come with it, but it's already on the gun. I didn't want to remove it, so you get the Mac 9 DS Comp. And then the best part, or one of the best parts about this gun, in my opinion, it comes RMR cut. So it takes the RMR footprint, so big optics. Thank God, because we all hate small optics on full-size guns. And they include a RMR adapter plate for the Mac 9 DS Comp. Here's a cool thing. It takes the AOS plates. If you're not familiar with what the AOS plates are, it's the plates that the Prodigy uses. So there's a ton of options already on the market out there. Easy to get your hands on. Quality plate system, in my opinion. I've had no issues with the many Prodigies that we've owned and that have came through the shop. So I think they're reliable and they're designed pretty well. So let's load this thing up. I don't want to talk about it too much. Let's do some shooting, give you my opinion, and get straight into it. All right, so we're loaded up. Here is the DS Comp once again. Comes with window serrations that I think look pretty good. It comes, like I said, RMR cut or fitted for a RMR adapter plate, so it takes full-size optics, which I think is fantastic. The grip is the traditional Mac, just polymer grip. It reminds me a lot of the staccato grips, which I personally am a big fan of. And obviously what everyone wants them for, the compensator or port on the front, more commonly known as a chunk style port. I have spoken about those ports in other videos. Generally speaking, not as effective as inline ports, kind of the style that we do up top, but they work very well. Definitely better than a stock gun, so let's just put a mag through it and see how she does. One mag, everybody knows the rules. I've got about 15 shots in here. Give you first shots, first impression. Let's see how she does, shall we? All right, initial impression, feels pretty smooth. The fitment on this thing is really good. Not a whole lot of wiggle when it comes to the slide to frame fitment. Trigger feels really good. Safeties, very, very audible and clicky, which I am a big fan of. The recoil impulse feels surprisingly well. I said this in one of my group chats that I'm in a couple of days ago. I think this is going to be the first factory ported, compensated, chunk ported gun, however you want to put it, that has been done correctly in comparison to a lot of other guns. When you compare this to something like the Comp Prodigy, the Echelon, the M&P, I think just due to the size or the volume of the actual port up front, it's going to be one of those guns where you actually get all the performance that you're looking for, which is very important, especially in a package around the $800, $900, $1,000 range. Let's shoot it some more, shall we? Man, trigger feels good. The front sight doesn't really move. Here's something that I do want to note. Couple things. One, you do get extended controls from factory, so you get an extended I'll try to show it on my right hand here. Extended mag release, and then you also get an extended slide release. So in theory, where's that empty mag again? I don't know how practical this might be, but at slide lock with an empty mag, you can drop it with your primary thumb without having to break or change your grip if you don't want to. A lot of guys, from what I've seen, will always come with their support thumb and drop that and then continue shooting. But if you're right-handed, at least, on this, you can actually reach it pretty easily. That's always a plus. Saves you time. You don't have to break your grip or kind of like spin the gun in your hand to reach things. Very easy to get to. The mag release feels pretty good. Very extended. It's hard to tell without flagging myself here, but it's fine. Very extended. You get those extended controls from the factory. It's cut for a full-size plate system, which I think is a huge, huge, huge advantage for this thing. And then obviously port everything. Trunk port, inline ports, put ports in it. Who cares? Let's shoot it some more and give you some more feedback on this. I do like the way it feels, even with this Surefire up front. I think it's what makes it feel as balanced as it does. I like it so far. I said this in previous videos. I am not a 2011 guy per se. However, I can appreciate when something is done correctly. This so far feels really good. It feels balanced. The port up front is doing what the port up front is supposed to do. You can't ask for much more, to be honest with you. I like it, man. And that slide release, even as a lefty actually, now that I think about it, being a little bit more protruded out really gets you, because a lot of the times as a lefty, I come over the top like this on 2011s. Something to keep in mind. I like it. Let's load up some more and see how she feels. Something else to point out though. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of. Let me just rack the slide back just to be extra safe here. All right, cold, no mag, right, clear. The front sight, I'll try to show you. It's blacked out rear and a blacked out front. I'm not a fan of that personally. I like some kind of indicator up front at least, just to be able to pick it up a little bit easier. But so far, gun feels good, recoil feels good, trigger feels good. I do think the trigger could use a little bit of work. I'll show you. So here is the take up. Very short, as a 2011 should be. Wall break. And then the reset. Feels good. Again, it's a 2011 trigger. You get what you get. They're all pretty good in general, right? So let's load up a couple more rounds and shoot it some more, shall we? So far, so good. Something I want to touch on that I think is crucially important to talk about. I think a lot of these budget 2011 guns that are coming out, like the Match X that I reviewed a couple weeks ago, this Mac comp, it really is setting the bar on how affordable you can make a 2011 that continues to be reliable. It comes compensated or ported. The materials are non-MIM. The balance is good. It's reliable. It's smooth. The fitment's really good. For sub 1,000, a couple years ago, this was pretty much unheard of. And now you have a bunch of manufacturers coming out with, again, pocket-friendly 2011s that give people access to this platform without breaking the bank, without having to sell a kidney. This is $1,000 roughly, right? Depending on where you find it. Man, it's a solid option too. The Match X last week really impressed me. Obviously that was ported. This is gonna get ported at some point. But these sub $1,000 2011s continue to be more and more impressive while continuing to be more and more budget friendly. That's the best part about it. Let's shoot some more rounds through this thing and continue to yap, shall we? Man, again, smooth. The port does its job. Recoil impulse is super, super smooth. Again, it's an impressive budget 2011, and it's hard to not recommend it because for sub $1,000, or right around the $1,000, it comes with everything you need. It comes ported, which, as you know, if you know us, we port everything. You should port everything. Comes ported. Comes with slide serrations. Comes with extended controls. Comes with a magazine, or a magwell, excuse me. Comes, once again, the biggest thing I think that is a selling point for this thing, aside from the port and the quality, is going to be it takes the AOS plates, so it gives you the versatility of any optic on the market pretty much for, once again, and I'll keep saying it over and over, for sub $1,000. You can't really go wrong. Let's shoot it some more, man. Like, again, it's very impressive, in my opinion, what these companies are able to pack into a gun at this price point, excuse me, that generally aren't at these price points. Ports, big optic, serrations, extended controls, magwell, the fitment's good, it's reliable, it shoots good. I mean, you can't ask for much more, right? Dude, like, I like it.